afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from the host, ImperialDane. We're off here to an exciting 1 versus 1 on Holotny Felma. We shall be watching Mr. Greenpath here fighting for the Soviet Union and the Soviet peoples. Here rolling out for the 5th Tank Corps. Tasked with holding the line until further reinforcements can arrive. Also, here some building was initially cancelled, by the way. Going up here versus that fiend of fiends, ImperialDane. Striking off here for the Wehrmacht for the 23rd Panzer Division. Intent on breaking through here, no matter what. Alternating here, due to some funny things that occasionally happen, I ended up losing here about half a minute of the match, which is why I'm a bit behind, as you might be noticing, in even getting an infantry company up. So I rather rapidly had to sort of adapt to that, in this case going for a second pioneer squad, that way at least not getting too far behind on initial capturing of territory. Commanded by guard motor, counterattack tactics and partisan tactics, FEM and elite troops, mechanized and mobile defense. And there you got the Grenadiers as well. So in that regard I end up not being fully behind here, though still note he's pretty much almost got 3 to 4 points, while as I've only got 1. So there's a bit of a difference there initially already. More Grenadiers on the way. 1 Pioneer squad heading north to secure some territory there. Also that way I can at least turn the 2 Pioneers into sort of way of finding out, well, where's he heading, where's his force actually going to be aimed at, what are his movements, that kind of thing. So part securing extra territory, also part reconnaissance. We're noting additional conscripts commies in the way from Mr. Greenpath. And charging straight towards here. The conscripts are already far ahead. And the Grenadiers on exchange, I'm pulling them back rather immediately as well. And then diverting the Pioneers to assist the Grenadiers. And another mining engagement up here, down, or up north, with additional Grenadiers arriving there. Second Communist squad could join in the fight, or they could set up some structures here. Question is, of course, what will Mr. Greenpath choose? Conscripts are falling back. More conscripts arriving in. And going straight for his fuel point. In the meanwhile, up north, on more guns around there. We go. Forces sneaking. Ever slowly, ever cautiously. Trying to secure munitions. There we go. Realizing what's going on. He's going straight for my cut-off point. I immediately pull back here to try and defend everything I've got around here. Conscripts continue charging. More guns arriving. The Pioneers also coming up there with their machine pistol in 40. One of the several submachine guns the Germans used, so the primary one. There was also older variants, by the way, which the Germans also used, made by different sort of factories, including some were made in Denmark. And there's the MP28. Little fun fact there. They also, depending on theatre, could also end up using, for example, the Italian submachine guns, or, well, they were also quite fond of the Russian P-38-41s, in fact, converting a few millions of those to actually use German munitions. Also a bit of an early mine up here, good spot there, but on the other hand, he did lose his fuel point, while at the same time trying to sort of cut me off there, so I might be able to sort of, at least in that regard, turn things a bit around there. Continue to territory the Pioneers, basically just working as a harasser. MD4 sitting up to check the cut-off point. Grenadiers heading northwards. And getting a second MD42 as well. Figure I might as well try something slightly further different while I'm at it. So 2 Pioneers, 2 Grenadiers, 2 MD42s. Unless in some regards, you know, offensively punch strong, but still got some ability, can also hold ground reasonably well if the MD42s are properly supported, in which case the Pioneers do play a role with their mines and barbed wire if it comes down to that. Commies up down here, faring not well versus the German Pioniere with their Schmeiters, as they're also known. And they're going straight for the cut point here, but not having left its post, the MG gunner quickly puts a stop to that. Gunner's falling back, MG4 setting up to support as well, trying to draw him in here. He probably is not expecting a second MG4 soon as well again. And that's a bit of meta game here where I'm actually playing on. A lot of German players nowadays only go for 1 MG42. And in this case he seems to have spotted it, so they did not quite have the full effect one might have hoped for. But still, I mean, in general, the idea was fine, I would argue. In this case, a bit of an accident happens. The mine set went off, and Jürgen, Dietrich, and Paulus got blown to Kingdom Come. Sending a quick S-mine field to cut the flank here, so I'm trying to focus forces up here, in which case, to ensure my MD-42 doesn't get too easily flanked, the S-mines here, I figure might do the trick. And we're noting here support women company up here, Mr. Greenpath adding some Maxim to sort of support things here. Noting, by the way, that while he's got 4 companies, and by the way, didn't use the second one to quickly set up a structure, which is actually quite interesting. I mean, one might imagine he'd go for flamethrowers. I mean, that would sort of be the logical then follow-up instead, but he hasn't quite done that either. I mean, whereas I went for the pioneers largely out of sort of, you know, scheiße, I need to quickly improvise something. He rather seems to have gone in a bit more intentionally, so it's a bit odd that he doesn't do that. Although, I mean, the same goes for me still. I mean, I could also benefit from actually upgrading one of my pioneers with a flamethrower, a Flammenwerfer. I do believe the flamethrower was actually invented by a German. Make of that what you will. Ja, we need a way to throw fire at the enemy. Heinz, your onset. Jawohl! MD crew moving up there. Grenadier supporting. In fact, larger push going up here. And meanwhile, everything's going down here. And I rather realise it might be in a slightly bad position as I make my push northwards. As he's now pushing again forth here, and we're seeing here a very large force around Greenpath. He's in fact moving everything in there, several conscripts, Maxim, and for some reason he's taking up position this shit. I don't know why Greenpath did it like that. To be quite fair, I do not know why. Troops there getting suppressed, MD4 so Martin Grenadiers as well, mines there, good job. I mean, Mr. Greenpath is getting very sort of thorough with his mines, that's good to see. Rifle grenades going off there, grenades trying to sort of flank in behind the MD42, doing well there. Surprisingly, he did not suppress the MD42 with his Maxim, a bit of a rare occurrence. Mortar moving up there, Pioneers holding up the flank, he's charging straight into the MP40 equipped Pioneer, and he's actually quickly losing ensigns, already a bit low on health there, MD42 falling back as well. And there go the Pioneers successfully vanquish the Russian invaders and send them running. Pioneers holding up here, more S-mines going out on the retreat, wiping out almost the entire unit in one brutish go. Flamethrower up here, the pressure, and going for the further force ultimately northwards. No sign of command yet. I mean, interesting thing is, I mean, considering the sort of way I'm playing, in fact, very hazardously overextended sometimes, you could probably gone for some partisans at a certain junction, could actually done a lot of damage to him. But interesting enough, he did not go for partisans. And in that case, he probably lost a bit of a chance of actually causing a lot of havoc and a lot of chaos. In fact, he could have probably routed me then completely. Meanwhile, northern harassment continues, keeping up the pressure that way. And clearing out some mines here with minesweepers. And apparently he's actually used conscripts to reinforce the combat engineers. That's actually a bit rare, and I don't actually think it's cost effective. I mean, you can do it, but I actually think combat engineers are cheaper than conscripts. Yuri, you're a combat engineer. I don't know how to do any of these things. Shut up. Neither do they. Oh, okay.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
Getting a pack here in case of an early vehicular rush. MD42 setting up here. Pioneers sort of watching over, and there go, they're going to quickly assault here from both sides. Conscripts and comms being charged in here by Mr. Greenpath. Though clearly on the red path, if you catch that one. Grenadier there with a light machine gun, the lightest Maschinengewehren. Also an S-mine field up here to cover the MD42, since I figure he could try and sneak up here, in which case an S-mine field here might cover the MD42 at least from that angle. From here, I mean, you could say he could do that, but I'm more likely to actually spot what's going on there and get the MD42 out in time. So that was really my thoughts for that. Pioneers pushing southwards. Still no sign of commander here from Mr. Greenpath. Waiting for minesweepers there, so instead I had to sort of link about here, taking a bit longer path. Secure some territory, then the Maxim here running into the MD42, well positioned here. To ambush any communists who advance a bit too far. And more mines up there, I mean he's getting very thorough over that. Good to see that, good to see that. Even got there, and that's also by the way a good mine spot, so good job there by Mr. Greenpath. Good job there. No sign of further taking up from me though. Conscripts charging straight ahead there, and a bit of an oorah into the building, kicking the door in with great Soviet enthusiasm. It looks like he might try to flank about there. Also a good job there. And in this case, I realised it was like nasty position, but I shift things around, pulling back here, because I realised, well, I could try that and maybe shift the grenadiers inside the building. Otherwise, he's not going to have an easy time flanking me then. And I'm not to see any Molotovs, so I rather feel I can do this a bit safely. Well, there we go, over to me. No sign of commander from my side either. MG42, though, looking a bit poorly. Grenadiers moving in. And there you go, conscript mini commander fire here, gaining metric point on the MG42. Taking up has been done though. Mine engagement here, conscript suppressed. One stuck his head up a bit too far, then quickly shifting up to the building here as well. Maxim firing away on a few of the gunners there, and troops sneaking about there, sort of larger assault going in from Mr. Greenpath. Forces a bit spread out though. And the MG42 actually getting suppressed there. Field gun also being pulled up here by Greenpath, and a tank battalion command also up. And note, by the way, he's a bit not far away from actually being able to call in a T-34, thus adding some more serious firepower to things, and that's only be a bit in a bad position to actually handle that if he handles it properly. And you thought here there, in fact, the grenadiers here in the church and the building actually setting up a nice little kill zone around here, forcing him back. Almost wiping out the Maxim crew, and the Pioneers also do a bit of good there in the building, waving around their minesweeper and looking very threatening there. Don't come any closer or we'll sweep your mines. Yeah, that's actually a pretty terrible threat, isn't it? Yeah, it is, Dieter. But support call up. Not going to go for a shoot in this case round, since I do feel, due to the current situation, a Panzer IV could prove a bit more vital.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
And I end up actually going straight for mobile defense and immediately calling in the Osttruppen reserves. Yeah. Then in this case I get absolutely nothing in terms of extra goodies. No light machine guns, no added veterancy. Either way though, they're basically called in to sort of try and further open up the front in the north, draw in forces. Basically they're just for the numbers.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
And to try and draw away as many forces of his as possible. Partly through use of counter-attack tactics, a sadly underestimated ability alongside its friend breakthrough tactics for the Oberkommando West, since it basically takes, well, half of the time of actually fully securing a point. Though counter-attack tactics only works once the point is rendered neutral, breakthrough of course just works in making it neutral.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Either way, activating, and there we go, all of a sudden going a lot faster here to secure the new high munitions point. Troops taking up position there, shock troops around here, MG42 shoots around, and there we go, also the victory point up north, getting heavily secured. T-34 running from the south, mortar fire going down there, Pack 40 by the way, with a blind spot here. I realise this is in fact a bit too late. Shock troops getting stopped, Maxim moving in, Ostrom getting suppressed. Hilfswilliger not having a happy time there. More mines going up there, Ostrom up north by the way, could continue their job. Troops advancing up, MG42 falling back, Pack 40 remaining, and we got the grenadiers also shooting at the conscripts. A quick rifle grenade dispatched through the air. And a lot of conscripts passed out then right before the point got rendered neutral. Also from there continuing up north. MG42 pulling a bit back as well here in the face of things.
We are losing a sector.
Southern point being harassed as well. And there we go, slowing down, but nonetheless, a lot closer also securing that point. So a lot of sort of rapid territorial trading. Panzerkampfwagen on this way to support the 23rd Panzer Division, which amongst other things fought in Hungary and around Budapest. And hitting a mine there, a few nasty losses.
New units are ready to deploy.
Panzerkampfwagen getting ready, Pentamount machine gun away, and we're seeing a quick round assault here. Good job there by Mr. Greenpath. He keeps up the aggression as well. Slight mines going off. Top of everything, but there we go, the counter engage here by the Panzerkampfwagen here with several machine guns. And of course it's high and closer rounds. A very reliable tank of the Wehrmacht.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
And a very solid medium tank all around. It was also the most produced tank of the Wehrmacht. Not to be confused with the most produced armoured fighting vehicle, which was the Stug.
Our machine gun turret has been installed.
And note, an assault gun is not a tank. Noting here, by the way, some flare mines going up there.
Forces are securing our
He seems a
territory.
bit fond of those. Not a bad idea, by the way. Certainly helps in terms of reconnaissance, being clear what's going on there. The Nazi therefore fires away, setting off those mines. More mines going up. By the way, he's sticking to a good rule. If there's only been one mine that went off one spot, you need getting another down there. It's not half bad either.
We are ready for action. The sector has been cut off.
No sign further still of a commander, although we can imagine it's something involving structures, in which case he probably actually went for counter-attack. And that he did. That he did. But time for the mid-game analysis. Current situation is territory sort of rapidly shifting hands. Time and time again. Rapid aggressive pushing in the north and the south as both is being exchanged. And so far, I mean, in terms of looking damage, I'm reasonably well ahead. Kills also a bit more ahead, though the Ostrom are certainly giving him some easy kills there in their several engagements. Armour-wise, we also somewhat equal. I mean, numerically we equal, although the Panzer IV certainly enjoys an advantage alongside that Pack 40. And infantry-wise, I've probably got, well, equal-sized force as well, though his is overall probably a bit stronger, except for the light machine gun grenadiers. I do possess more support weapons, which does give me some firepower overall, alongside the mortars and what not. And to a certain extent, I probably also enjoy some nice momentum. But let's start actually looking at Greenpath here. What can he actually do? I mean, he's got a nice amount of infantry. He's probably getting closer to, for example, being able to lay down a B4 howitzer, which could probably help him one, since he knows where my strong point is. It's around here, so firing a good B4 into that could easily open things up for then a fresh follow-up assault. He could then also maybe follow up with a KV-1 tank to, say, have the T-34 support, maybe the K-1 barge in forwards, and the T-34 then sort of attacks from the flank. That could, for example, be a very nice, solid working tactic. Another option is just getting more T-34s. And of course, I mean, if he's then going to make an assault, he should definitely also save up then for Mother Russia, since that greatly boosts all his weapons, teams, and also infantry units, and that way he could also combine with the B4 and say K1, really make a massive assault that could, if well executed, completely wipe me off the map. So that would be very much a good thought there for Mr. Greenpath to sort of consider, in which case, of course, you'll have to sort of lay a bit low with the mining. On the other hand, again, for Mother Russia, a B4 shot and then some KV-1 tanks could, again, lead to a very powerful blow. As for me, I got a bit of armor. More armor could certainly be an idea, though also getting maybe a Puma then to support my Panzer IV, at least initially, could also work out reasonably. I could also support my Pack 40 with higher range, and of course its gun, in particular once it gets Veteran to 1 and target weak point, it could certainly do quite well as well. And of course, eventually getting a Panzer IV command tank might be an idea, though getting some more Panzers would certainly be good. More use of counter-attack tactics, so that way, of course, aggressively drive up territory would certainly also not be a bad idea. That way, sort of constantly keeping up the pressure versus Mr. Greenpath, and all that way, sort of keeping down the amount of time I have to waste securing territory as well. In which case, also, of course, I get more resources much faster. I mean, using counter-attack tactics to drive harassment and just overall territorial security can give you a lot of sort of an edge and a bit of an advantage, then, particularly in terms of time and keeping up things going, because then all of a sudden you don't have to waste, you know, maybe half a minute securing territory. Instead, you may have to waste 10 seconds, which does make a bit of a difference in the overall picture. But back to the fight here. Victory points, though, he's actually got quite the advantage. He's actually been able to quite excellently hold on to all victory points, or at least 2 of them, thus ensuring he's actually not lost a single point so far. Pushing up here, and is also in the building, acting as observers. Mortar fire shining down the Pack 40, setting up. Puma rolling in, the schwerer Panzer Spähwagen. Panzer IV arriving and wiping out entire conscript there from Mr. Greenpath's forces. Not a good situation for him there, and also he's become a bit too close there to the mine. Actually, one good strike there, and that is Gutes Nacht, Ivan.
Are ready to deploy.
Assault here flanking in rather than counter some issues. There's an MG42 on the Puma set about, firing away. Comes reinforced as well there, by the way, ensuring they don't have to worry about my minefield there. Puma rapidly rolling in, maybe also trying to get off a quick easy shot there on the T-34. And a quick damage engine, in fact, looks like he destroyed the engine entirely. Nice throw there, Yuri. Though I'm sure Heinz driver does not agree. Veteran 2 on one, MD4 to Veteran 1 on the other. Lots of manpower here, and I think he's about to exchange that into, yes indeed, the B4 3mm howitzer, also known as Stalin's sledgehammer. I'll leave to your imagination why it might be called that.
Taking our territory.
But a very powerful piece of artillery, though it was technically self-propelled, though of course in the game it sort of acts as noticeably less self-propelled, because that will probably be a bit much. Puma guarding the flank here of the Pak 40 just in case he tries to flank with the T-34, in which case the Puma could buy valuable time. Flank coverage is always important. And again another bout here of counter-attack tactics. Rapidly again securing territory.
Specially outfitted Panzer IV command tanks are now available.
And for once they're gaining access to actually 2 victory points at a time. And there we go. B4 howitzer shoots, kills, and wipes out the Veteran 2 MG crew. We got the T-34 charging forwards here. And the Puma, of course, is quick to provide line of sight here for the Pak 40. Allowing it to get the most out of its range. And there we go, T-34 down there. One reason, for example, to actually use the Puma as the Wehrmacht in the mobile defense, basically acting as a spotter. In that way. And of course, without, say, having to use spotting scope, to of course require the unit to stand still. So a slight benefit there to using the Puma instead. Consoles there getting absolutely massacred. Mr. Greenpath slightly overextending things there. But there we go, we actually got a K1 charging forward here. And note here, Mr. Greenpath, by the way, takes its way around the church, correctly deducing that Pak 40 is still sort of aiming there, hoping nothing spots him, and thus sort of trying to sort of rush my Pak 40.
Scout car awaiting orders.
Second Panzer IV soon a possibility. Getting more infantry by the way from me would be an idea. Seems like he's waiting for something, maybe to confirm the Pak 40 nonetheless. Panzer IV moving down south here to protect the victory point. There we go, the assault goes in. He's confirmed the Pak 40. Pop smoke in front of the MG42 as well. But right here, Pak 40 pulls back, Puma moves in as well. And there you go. Target weak point open up, there's Veterans 1 gained, and he's actually moving closer, giving a better chance of penetrating. And at the same time sending up the Pak 40 to shoot target weak point at the KB1 here. So both units here firing at it, and that basically stuns it for about, well, 10 seconds. And the Puma, of course, also gains a bit more veterancy. And there you go, in the end, the K1 is kaput. A series of, well, heat rounds, basically. Not this stuffing out of it. Oh, there is a bit of a close encounter there. And that's also why the Puma does have an advantage here with its target weak point, since other units which are sort of more static in nature, with a fixed gun, of course, I mean, you know, it doesn't take much to sort of confuse it. Or at least delay it. Whereas with the Puma, the turret basically means once it's there, you're pretty much going to guarantee the hit soon enough. So in that regard, the Puma does also possess a slight little neat advantage when it comes to using target weak point, which can also make it useful to, say, support other units that way. Say you have a pair of Stoogs, use the Puma attack not just only as a spotter for the Stoogs, But then you also say, you know, use its target weak point for the Stooge, so that way the Stooge can just focus on fire. The Puma then, say, disables the targets for the Stooges. And that way you sort of get a nice little hunter and hunting dog focus, if you will. Panzer IV, though, did also take a bit of damage. And here I'm basically just blasting away, worried about the mine. And I don't want to end up with a Panzer IV with a disabled engine. Panzer Grenadier on the way. And back here to Mr. Greenpath. His forces took a bit of a nasty bashing there, and the KB-1 probably did not expect to be pelted with heat rounds like that. We got the Puma here rolling ahead rapidly. For the glory of Germany. And once more we also note here that counter-attack tactics being utilised, overall getting a sort of nice spread of the abilities. Noting whereas Mr. Greenpath doesn't seem to be actually making much use of his abilities, just the units. I mean, from Mother Russia can really actually allow you some good assaults. Panzer rolling up, and I'm basically just waiting for some minesweepers to clear the path. Puma left down here to guard and cage with a quick armoured assault and just provide some lighter support versus infantry. Pressure being further initiated, the Ostrom basically sneaking up there to cause a bit of havoc. From other Russia now available, by the way. Important there again, rapidly secure thanks to counter-attack tactics. A very useful ability, very useful. And then the mines was confirmed. Ah, scheiße, there were no mines. And certainly there have been times where German assault got actually stalled because they were worried about their own mines, but then turns out there were none at all. Always a bit awkward, that. Moving forward to another mine here, though. In this case, we'll quickly move around. Same time, Panzer was here close to cleaning out the field gun. A very big threat there to my Panzers. Shock troops taking heavy fire, and we see the B4 quickly turning about here, up. And a bit too late, I realise what's about to go on. The mine got cleared, but so did the minesweepers. The unfortunate there, Puma supporting things, check on these close to getting wiped out. Alongside that MD crew, Pick 40, not looking too good either. But fighting a bit more desperately for the victory points now, I feel like I can't really afford to lose much more on that. Mr. Greenpath, on the other hand, his forces are looking a lot more broken now. He's not got a lot of armour left. Not a lot of support weapons either.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands. The engineer's ready. We have more conscripts at our disposal.
And right here I actually form a plan to actually launch an assault into his base and clear up the B4, since I feel like that's probably going to give him the biggest chance of getting back in the fight with its massive striking power, in which case I very much risk all of a sudden losing a lot of units. So in that case, I form up a unit here, the Puma basically acting as the advanced scout in this case. Can't spot this, what's going on, noting here another K1 arrives here for Mr. Greenpath, and the assault is immediately called off in this case. Instead, pulling away and deciding on something else. Calling on a bit Befehlspanzer as well to strike north, and instead opting for just one massive push through the south, and noting their mines were also laid down as well. Instead opt for a more sort of spread out assault from several angles. And I also order some Ostrom to, well, clear out the mines. But where are the minesweepers? Use your imagination. Yeah, use your imagination. It's the greatest weapon of the Wehrmacht. Osttruppen, I mean imagination. Meanwhile, Maxim up north here getting struck down by the Panzer IV Befehlspanzer. Field gun firing up, their K1 moving north, and just as this happens, the assault is set in here. Less spread out than I imagined, but either way. Charging forwards. Constantly there taking a lot of fire. Shock troops there also in a bit of peril. Getting wiped out with the Grenadiers. And striking down here the B4. Maximum trouble. Constantly getting shattered. Noting, by the way, they managed again with an anti-tank grenade to destroy the engine. That's a bit rare that happens often in a match. Constantly there getting wiped out. Okay, warming up. B4 opening up. Field gun opening up. Another damage engine. There we go. The Panther 4 down. All of a sudden the assault here is not going well. Puma firing into the rear there with also target weak point. Could maybe stand to drive behind the field gun and knock that out there with machine guns. They'll continue to shoot away there, doing a nice bit of damage there to the KB1. And quickly turning to machine gun there, the coaxial. Getting the crew, almost getting knocked out there. Might pop some smoke. Fritz Nieben. And no, too late there. Too late. The Puma out of control. Wasted. Nonetheless, ended up doing a lot of damage, leaving on with a few conscripts. And the KB1, the rest annihilated, whereas I continue to hold on to a much larger force. Much larger force, and all of my Osttruppen somewhat. Immediately calling in another Puma and upgrading the Panzergrenadier with a Panzer Schreck to sort of try and deal with the remaining KB1. But all a rather brutal assault here that saw heavy losses on both sides. Although in the end I still came out of it reasonably well. Though the assault could have been executed noticeably better had reacted a bit faster to clear out the field gun there with my Puma instead of just taking shots at the KB1. Another moving in. And the Puma again hitting a mine. Heavy engine damage. My Pumas don't really seem to fare well when it comes to engine damage at all. And trying to drive away here. Got the KB1 moving in. A bad situation here. Getting off of one shot there that penetrates. Second shot that fails. And there it goes. The main gun is destroyed. But a pair of brave Panzers towed up that Panzer Schrecks, and there we go. Both penetrate, leaving the K1 almost knocked out. Grenadiers also has the Panzer, but that on the other hand fails to make much of an impression. And the end of the K1 goes down. Congress got wiped out as well. And there you go, GG from Mr. Greenpath. And the end of the battle was won. That was rather close at times. And target weak point indeed did win the day here, since he pretty much decided to charge in and apparently not considered a Puma with that and the Pack 40 with that, stunning out his K1 for several, well, seconds, allowing several shots to go in there. So in that regard, he made a slight mistake here and that ultimately turned the tides much more in my favour. The B4 though was a nice move. I mean, he overall sort of used the commander reasonably well, but again, I think he should have tried using from other Russia. If he had done that, I think he would have had a much stronger hand at certain points of the match, and certainly he should have coordinated with a B4 strike alongside the K1 when he made the attack. Instead though, it was just basically one KB1 moving in, which also made it a lot easier for me to contain there with the Pack 40 and the Puma. But overall, some nice aggressive play. Very good mining from Mr. Greenpath. Very good mining. He was also reasonably able to keep his armor alive, though again a few things here and there, and I imagine the Puma certainly played a large role in that with his first K1 and that T-34, basically of course providing line of sight, thus getting the most out of the Pack 40 as well. Whereas the mine certainly did quite a lot there. The B4 was also a nice choice, sort of forcing me to get aggressive there, since it certainly had me worried, and certainly also got all the tanks, but sadly at that stage his force was largely already gone. And certainly one wonders if maybe a mortar might not have helped, or maybe another Maxim or another field gun. He was down to basically one field gun, and that also to a certain extent also meant I had a bit more choice in sort of where I decided to move around. On the other hand, Armenia pretty much made use of the ability, made aggressive use of counterattack tactics, so like sort of constantly roll up his territory, that way sort of constantly keeping things under pressure, also ensure I had a bit more resources flowing towards me. And a bit of sort of nice aggressive influence. I could have done with more grenadiers or some more panzer grenadiers earlier. The Ostrom certainly also did a part of the thanks to counterattack tactics. Very nice little combination, and that sort of more aggressively tie up territory. The Pumas, the first one, also did quite well there. And certainly without that Puma, I probably would have lost around here, since the target weak point was very instrumental in basically forcing back that KV-1, in fact destroying it. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this brief little match, this little slug out on Holotny Farmer. I hope you learned something from it. I hope you got some ideas for your own matches. If you did want to subscribe to your friends, share it with everyone. If not, send in a replay and provide some feedback in the comments. This is ImperialDane saying cheers, and thank you all for watching.